In the next 15 minutes, we'll be taking a comprehensive look at stories that made headlines on the continent this week. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching #Africa. I'm Duduzile Ramela. We begin on a rather somber note. Zimbabweans are mourning the death of longtime opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai. The Movement for Democratic Change leader died at a Johannesburg hospital this week after a long battle with colon cancer. The former trade unionist fought for over 2 decades to unseat longtime rival, former President Robert Mugabe. Tsvangirai served as Prime Minister under Mugabe from 2009 to 2013. He died at the age of 65. The South African National Defence Force has come under fire for alleged sexual exploitation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 4 members are under investigation for allegedly sexually assaulting 3 adult victims and physically abusing a 17-year-old boy. The incidents allegedly took place in the North Kivu province. The probe will be conducted by national investigating officers working closely with the United Nations office in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The United Nations wants the investigation concluded in 3 months. And Lesotho's newly appointed Army Chief Lieutenant General Mojalefa Letsoela has undertaken to restore stability to the Mountain Kingdom. General Letsoela vows to monitor the allocation of firearms and ammunition to different units very closely. SADC has previously reported missing firearms and ammunition from the force. Letsoela takes over from slain Army Chief Lieutenant Hwantle Motsomozo. Lesotho has been in turmoil since 2014. That's when the then Army Commander Tladi Kennedy Kamodi allegedly attempted to overthrow Prime Minister Tom Thabane. Let's get you more now on the death of Zimbabwe's opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai. He died at a Johannesburg hospital this week following a long battle with colon cancer. We reflect on his contribution to the Zimbabwean political landscape. I'm joined in studio by Africa analyst Dewa Mavinga and Morgan Tsvangirai's brother, Mr. Collins Tsvangirai. Gentlemen, thank you so much for talking to us today. And of course, it's under very heavy circumstances. Mr. Collins, let me start with you by offering our deepest condolences to yourself and to the family. If you can perhaps start by just telling us how everyone is doing at this moment.
This is a sad moment to everyone in the family. Morgan being the eldest son in our family, he is my mentor. He was my mentor. Now today, I've got to take the whole, what he left is upon my shoulders. Just to mentor the young kids who were also left by their mother in 2008. It becomes very bad for the family because at this moment in time, when we were with him at the hospital, you could hardly believe that he's going to live because his breathing was so heavy upon him. Today, it's not only the family of Tsvangirai that is mourning. All Zimbabweans are mourning because they were looking forward for him to unseat the present government, the present part which is in government and which is the ruling party, which is ZANU-PF.
Mr. Dewa, I'd then like to come to you at this point and expand on what Mr. Collins has just said. Do you think that his hope or his vision of wanting to see a better Zimbabwe, to take over from the ruling ZANU-PF, do you think that will be visualized given what we see? The party right now is at its weakest. What is happening there?
Well, there are huge challenges. Zimbabwe has been plunged into mourning because Morgan Tsvangirai is the founding father of democracy in Zimbabwe. He fought fearlessly, bravely, and unflinchingly in the face of serious challenges from a brutal regime in Zimbabwe led then by President Mugabe, but also now under Mnangagwa. So there is uncertainty and chaos in terms of what then happens? There is need for the deputies and for everyone in the opposition to come together, to rally together, because we go to elections in the next 5 or 6 months. Right. So it is important that the opposition mourns its icon and then gets its house in order. It does not look like at the moment the house is in order. It's weak, but there is need for hard work, fast work, to get back on the track and then to push for credible reforms to deliver free and fair elections that are needed in 2018 this year.
And let's talk about his legacy, Dewa. How would you describe it?
It is a legacy of a fight for democracy, for human rights respect, and for the betterment of the lives of ordinary Zimbabweans. Morgan Tsvangirai was a humble person who, although he attained the heights of being prime minister, he remained the man with the common touch. He could relate to people, he could speak to the bread and butter everyday issues of Zimbabweans. So that is his legacy, a legacy of courage and bravery.
Mr. Collins, I'm going to come to you in closing very quickly for us. I mean, we knew Morgan Tsvangirai, the man in public, but you knew him very closely. He is, after all, your brother. I think one image that will forever be etched in our minds is when, under the brutal regime, as you called it, he was beaten up and his face was swollen, but he still presented himself to the public. He seemed like the kind of man who was very strong. How are you going to remember him?
Morgan was my mentor from childhood, because I still remember my father telling me that when he was 6 years old and I was 4 years, we used to herd cattle together. And there is a time when he was going to school, we had to cross a river that used to flood during the summer season. He used to carry me and then we would go to school and come back. And there are so many things that I've learned from him, because his lenience towards his brothers and how we got on. Because in our family, we are 7 brothers and 2 sisters. No, him being the eldest, he stood by us during the time when we were going to school. He didn't want us to be harsh to other children. So, to me, I will remember him most of the times that I needed him.
Well, I think that's how many Zimbabweans will remember him. He carried you and he carried Zimbabwe. Papa Collins Tsvangirai, thank you very much for coming to talk to us at such a difficult time. And thank you very much to Dewa Mavinga, Africa analyst. After the break, mixed reaction as Africa's first woman president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, wins the Mo Ibrahim Leadership Prize. Welcome back. The security situation in Cameroon's Anglophone region is fast deteriorating. The killing of soldiers and policemen continues while residents face intimidation.
It all started in November 2016. English-speaking lawyers and teachers went on strike, but it was soon overtaken by separatist groups demanding full independence for the country's Anglophone minority. More than 20 soldiers and police officers have been killed during this campaign to split Cameroon's English-speaking minority from the country's capital, Yaoundé. Anglophone Cameroonian people say they've been assaulted and threatened by soldiers.
I no talk true. They go shoot me and my mommy. They're there for my mommy corner, they're there for my corner. So my mommy collapse, he fall. So that door they be push him, the door to knock me to a fall. As I fall, they take na gun, they surround me. They say, you know this man for this picture. I say, I don't know me, the person. You say, you know. He say, you know. They jerk me from room, carry me go outside. From outside, they put me for their neck. Carry me go right for public. Go lift me for there. They say, me flatten my belly for down.
But army officials say claims of soldiers mistreating residents in villages are totally false. The army crackdown in Cameroon has forced more than 40,000 people to flee to Nigeria. The fighting has become a threat to President Paul Biya's long-standing rule and is also threatening stability in the oil and cocoa-producing Central African country.
Former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has received the Mo Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership. The Mo Ibrahim Foundation has praised Sirleaf for helping Liberia recover from many years of civil war. The award, which is designed to improve the quality of political leadership on the continent, comes with a prize money of 58 million rand. However, critics say she isn't a worthy recipient as she failed to tackle graft and deal with poverty during her 12-year tenure. A quick look now at what's been happening on social media this week. The Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs in Zambia, Godfrida Sumaili, says anyone found with a sex doll will be arrested. Government says they won't sit back while society is destroyed by an addiction to sex toys. Social media users are accusing the Zambian government of focusing their energies on useless things. Now get this, a private clinic in Gabon has finally released a baby who was held there for months over an unpaid medical bill. The 42,000 rand bill was for the 35 days baby angel spent in an incubator after being born prematurely. A campaign to raise funds for the family was launched after the mother's story was seen on social media. And tributes continued to pour in following an accident involving the Democratic Republic of Congo's presidential motorcade, which left 5 dead. A cement truck was also involved in the accident. 3 soldiers and 2 civilians died as President Joseph Kabila was making his way back to Kinshasa. And on a lighter note, Kenyan photographer Brian Otieno is using his art to show the world a different side to one of the continent's largest slums, Kibera. He's using his pictures to show that there's more to it than poverty and violence.
The 25-year-old photographer captures images of life in Kibera, a buzzing informal settlement of 800,000 people. Born and raised here, he says he doesn't want the story of his hometown captured from an outsider's point of view.
The normalcy of life inside a slum from an insider's point of view, not from an outsider's point of view. But Kibera stories, it's about the people. Yeah, it's about the people. It's about me because I'm not paid to do this. Yeah, it's a volunteer project. I work every day. Kupiga photos na kushare them on social media.
In 2013, Otieno started an online project called Kibera Stories. Here, he gets people talking about the offerings of his hometown, from the underground rap scene, urban culture, fashion, as well as powerful stories of ordinary people. It's been a plus for travel agencies who now offer guided tours in and around Kibera.
Unapata hapa hivi Kibera, like there are different type of people, different type of photographers, like each one doing like his or her own work. But chenye naweza sema is that here I'm really happy to have like Brian around because he's one of the like Kibera ambassadors that are trying like to show like the real thing that is happening inside here, just out of passion, like to get people to know, learn the truth, not just like the people that come for business issues and run away after that.
Kibera Stories is slowly gaining popularity and has just under 7,000 followers on Instagram.
And that's it from us for now. Do stay tuned to ENCA for all the latest news. Take care and bye-bye.